Dave Ramsey. He's famous. A lot of people follow his advice. We're here to talk about why Dave Ramsey is right and wrong when it comes to whole life insurance policies. Hey everybody, I'm Matt.
And I'm Brian, and we're the Predictable Wealth Advocates. And what we do is we help ambitious millennials secure a predictable financial future, but without sacrificing their current lifestyle. Unlike Dave Ramsey, who makes you sacrifice everything in your lifestyle.
Dave Ramsey. All right. So we're going to get into this because he does have advice that a lot of people follow and have great success with. And we're not here to knock him. He talks a lot about whole life insurance and how much he hates it.
Yes.
How bad it is. And there are parts of his argument that we agree with. There's also parts of his argument that we find to be
Out of touch.
Yes, out of context. For example, Brian has a story.
So the other day, we're hanging out with some people. I have a 3-year-old son, and sometimes they just say things that kind of catch you off guard. So he goes, "Hey, pull my pants down to my ankles."
Uh-oh.
And everybody just looks over. It's like, where did you learn to pull my pants down to my ankles?
Yeah, keep your mouth quiet.
Right. And so everybody looks over, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, what are you talking about?" His pants were on his waist. And he points down to his ankle where there was about a 3-inch gap from his calf to his ankle where he needed to pull that part down to his ankles. And so it's like, oh, that's what you're trying to say. But without the context of knowing what the actual situation was, it can be interpreted very wrong.
Correct. I agree. Dave Ramsey is the same way. And when he talks about these policies, he's not giving you all the context. And maybe it's because he doesn't know all the context. We're here to help you sort this out because, again, some of it he said has been correct. Some of it just doesn't apply. Infinite banking is very different. Whole life insurance policy typically is for the death benefit. That's why you get it. We didn't get involved with whole life insurance policies for the death benefit.
Right.
We got it for the focus of infinite banking, which the difference between those two is you've got to have the policy structured properly by an agent who knows what the heck they're doing, because most don't. And they also need to understand your goals, because your goals are different from my goals, which are different from Brian's goals. And if those policies aren't structured properly, you're going to end up not as happy in the end. So expertise matters when we talk about infinite banking. And it's very different from somebody who's just looking to make sure that they've got their family covered if something is to happen for them.
So the part I think we agree on is that if you're looking to get death benefit as an insurance, then whole life's it's not a great way to do it. There's other options out there because there's so little cash value in the way that's structured, and there's such a high commission in a traditional whole life policy. Infinite banking isn't whole life. Even though infinite banking uses whole life, it's apples versus oranges, really.
Yeah.
So the reason that we use whole life insurance for the purposes of infinite banking, and so many other successful people do, is for very different reasons, because we wanted to be able to predictably grow our money and not take the traditional risk in the market. Like, for instance, Dave Ramsey talks a lot about just buy term and invest that difference in mutual funds, which he says you can get, 12%.
We'll follow up on another video with that.
Exactly, because is it really 12%? And what happens when the market goes down 50%? How long does it take to get back there? Things that aren't talked about. We wanted to be able to put this on autopilot where we knew it was going to grow tax-free. And when we wanted to borrow against the policy to use it for something else, like investing in real estate or paying for a vacation or whatever it was, we could do that.
Use the dollar in multiple ways. Something that Dave Ramsey has never talked about.
Exactly. So for instance, Dave Ramsey's known for teaching people how to pay down debt. Well, you're using those dollars to accomplish one goal, and one goal only, which is paying down the debt. Whereas with infinite banking, one of the things that so many people love about it, once they understand it, is that you can use that same dollar in multiple places. So pay down the debt, but also grow your money at the same time, which sounds crazy. I was having a conversation with a good friend just the other night. Doing well financially, having his best year ever, now is wanting to pay down a large chunk of debt and has the ability to do so. That number was $27,000. I'll keep the person anonymous. But I said, write down $27,000, like 2 columns, $27,000. How much after paying down that debt in one swoop, if you do it this way with all the cash, how much do you have to show for that after 40 years? 0, obviously.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. And that's what most people are doing.
Which is why it's so painful.
For sure. And the other part is write down the $27,000 and put that into something that was going to get you about a 4% return, compounding. So I had him pull up a calculator so he could see the numbers for himself. And after 40 years of 4% uninterrupted compounding growth, which 4% is a rough number for infinite banking, he would have about $116,000 if he had done it that way. So I said, what if you could pay off the debt but also have that type of growth? And let's say that doesn't end up being 116,000 because there's some nuances there, but let's say it ended up being 100,000. Which deal do you take? What if it only ended up being 70,000 at the end of those 40 years? Which deal do you take? But most people just pay down the debt right off and have nothing to show for it.
So here's our thing. Dave Ramsey has great advice. Follow him if you will or wish. Whole life insurance policies, very different from a whole life insurance policy specifically for infinite banking. And if you're looking to dive more into this topic, you want to have more information, check out our other videos. We go into much more detail on what an infinite banking policy is and how it can benefit you. Thanks for watching.